Hello and welcome to this new tutorial session about gameplay ingredients. Today we're gonna explore gameplay configurations using a third-person controller, and what we are going to do in this small session is to create a third-person controller roaming in a top-down game with camera volumes, and we are going to make a key and door system. So here I have my scene here, and I will first create a ground. Static. What we need for this project as well is a player that will be able to roam around. So for that purpose, we are going to use standard assets. So these are not supported anymore, but we can open still the third-person controller. I'm importing it using the package manager. Standard asset and import. Okay, so here we have a ton of things that we don't want to use. So here in standard asset, I will keep just the characters, not the first one, not the roller ball, but instead the third person character. And yeah, my feeling is I still need to use this cross-platform input. Okay, let's try importing that. It seems that it imported correctly, so let's try that with the third person character with the prefab in the scene. So I can see that the material is messed up because it was purposed for built-in render pipeline, so I will create a white material. Okay, here we are. So we have our third person controller here. If we press play, it does happen. So here I have a character that can move. Okay, so here I have my character. First, what I will do is try to bind a Cinemachine camera. So I will create a virtual camera. I will bind it here. Control Shift F to align it with my point of view, so it's looking at it this way. And now let's try to move a bit. So here, left, right, left, up, and down. Okay. For the purpose of this tutorial, I will just adjust the speed and the turn speed because it has a lot of inertia. So we will change the anim speed multiplier to 1.5, the speed multiplier to 1.5, stationary turn speed 360, 720, so it's gonna be moving way faster. We have a gravity multiplier, ground check distance. Okay, so my thing is this is okay. So this third person controller, I will apply all these to the third person controller. So here I have my player that moves quite faster. Okay. So here I'm in an untitled scene, so I will create a new tutorial 02 scene. Okay. Something that feels a bit weird as well is we do not have any kind of checkerboard material here. So what I will do is just create some kind of checkerboard for the ground. So here I will create a shader graph, universal lead shader graph, checkerboard, and what we will do is just for the base color here use the checkerboard, and for the UVs I will use the position in wall space, split the vector, so we want to project it horizontally, so we want vector 2 with X and Y, so we are using the X and Z, so the Y is up vector, so we do not need this, and let's plug that. And then I can create a material out of this checkerboard. Okay, and use it. Oh, it's a bit harsh, so I will reduce the contrast. Yeah, better. So we have a player roaming around. And actually what we want to do is have our camera that follows the player. So if we want our camera to follow the player, we have different things that we can do. So first we will remove this main camera. So we want only one camera. So why we do not want this main camera here is gameplay ingredients comes with an automatic camera named Virtual Camera Manager. It's here, and it's a prefab that's being spawned, and it serves many purposes because you can access this camera using scripts. We will show that in a later tutorial. But here we have the Virtual Camera Manager, we have our player that moves around, but the camera is not moving. So Virtual Camera Manager is using a Cinemachine brain, so it won't move by itself, it will move by using Cinemachine virtual cameras. So this is the camera we want to manipulate. What I will do is create a follow target on the ground and parent the camera to this target. And I will create an empty game object here that is named camera target. Okay, and I will parent the camera to the camera target. So here it's basically this point that we want to manipulate, and we want this point to follow the player. So right now it sticks in place. So how to do that? What we can do for this camera target is create a rig on it, a rich position rig. And rich position rig is a script that will make this target try to follow another transform. So for the transform, we will use the third-person controller here with dampen and maximum velocity. So it's basically the dampen is the deceleration when it comes close to the target, and maximum velocity is something to prevent the target from moving too fast. So here I will keep these two values, and let's go back to game. Okay, so something that I need to change as well in the project settings is in the editor there is an option that can speed up things, is enter play mode settings. If you have enter play mode options, you can just reload the scene and not reload the domain. Reload domain is reloading the C# scripts, and it's what takes most of time. So here, if I play again, it's instant. Okay, and here I have my target that tends to reach the player. So as you can see here, it's super slow. And what I want to do here is to increase these two values. So dampen will be 12 and maximum velocity will be, for instance, 5. And let's play again. Here, it's better. So I have my player that can roam around, and I have a camera target that follows. Okay, so this is the first step in order to make a level. But now, what if I want to present things more as rooms for the player? So here I have a camera target. I will disable it, and we will create a room system first. So let's create a 3D object, cube, and I will create some walls. Okay, so we have a room here with a player, but still no more camera target. So now what I want to do is instead of having this camera that moves around, I prefer the camera that is fixed and that just orients toward the player. So instead of using a following camera target, we're gonna create a trigger with a camera attached to it. So here, let's create a gameplay ingredients trigger box here. And we're gonna edit the size of this trigger. Okay, so this trigger will react to the player tag. So let's make sure the third-person controller has the player tag. And when the trigger here is entered, we're gonna activate one virtual camera that is linked to it. So what we're gonna do is just duplicate this camera here, and we're gonna unenter toggle game object action. So here it's gonna be enable this camera. I'm gonna name it enable camera, and I'm gonna duplicate this one. I name it disable camera, disable on trigger exit. Okay. So here I have a trigger with a camera. Let's make it first a prefab, because we are going to reuse that. So here prefabs, and let's create a box trigger. So it's not going to be box trigger, but instead camera trigger. Camera trigger. So by default, let's just make sure that the Cinemachine virtual camera is disabled. And then I'm gonna duplicate this camera trigger and put it here. And we're gonna see how it behaves. So here I have two virtual cameras, and then I can play. Okay. So here I have something that is not working. Okay, why isn't it working? So here enable, oh, it's just because I didn't put disable camera here. So instead, let's go to the prefab to do it properly. So here, disable camera, disable enable. Okay, so here we are, and then we are going to the second room and the first one. Okay, so here that's good because the point of view doesn't change, but the camera is not following the player. Okay, so in order to do that, let's what we can do is here for the look at, we could just look at the third person controller. So here, okay, we could have something like that. That is quite convenient. So we have our player, but it's my feeling is it's moving super fast. So maybe it's a matter of changing the position of all of these two virtual cameras. Maybe they are too close to the ground. So let's move them a bit higher and maybe a bit further from the rooms. Okay. I will probably apply here for the camera trigger. So let's go back to what we were doing. So here I have Cinemachine with a look at, and then my player that can go to the second room. Okay, and here I can go back to the first room. I can roam around, and here we go. So what I wanted to do is to create a door and a key. So first, the door will be an automatic door. So here, I will remove the wall, we'll duplicate that, and here I'm gonna create a door. And I'm gonna make a group out of it, group selected. Door bars, okay. So what I need to do for these bars is probably to make them go down all the way to free the player. Okay, so first I will create a material to make them stand out a bit more. Material bars, and so here it's gonna be material for all these. Be that way, metallic, super smooth. Yeah, good enough. So we have door bars here, and what we want to change as well is to create a room, for instance, where there is a key. So let's make a room where the player is going to search for the key here, and I'm going to grab some other walls. Okay, change that. Okay, so here I need a key with a pedestal. So what I can do here is make we're gonna make a key object. So in order to do that, I'm gonna go to MagicaVoxel here, and I'm gonna do 1:16:16, and then I'm gonna draw, erase everything, and then attach some key. Okay, erase. Then I'm gonna export this as obj. Okay, here we are. So we have a key object, key mesh. Fair enough. So here I have my key. Okay. So what I can do for this key is just when it comes to something that a player can pick up, you can make a pickup object. So here we need our key to stand out a bit. So what we can do is just give it some motion instead. So here on the key I can add a rig, rotation rig. So this rotation rig will make the key rotate on itself. Oh, I also forgot to create a camera volume. So here I will duplicate this one. I move it here. So let's go back here, here, and here. Okay, so here I have a key that I need to pick up. So how to pick up this key? It's first what we want to do is to make this key something that you can pick up. So we have a pickup item. Okay, so here in order to pick up, we need to make it sensitive to the player. So first it needs a collider. So what we are going to use is a sphere collider, and that we are going to move around, better radius, and we need it to be a trigger, because if it's not a trigger, the player won't be able to enter the space of this sphere, and it's gonna never pick it up. So here we have a pickup item. Okay, here. So here on pickup, we can add actions. So here on pickup, what we're going to do is just send a message. Send message action. And the message is just something that is being shouted out of in the level. So whenever I send a message, say K acquired, and then I can send this message. So when the player is gonna pick it up, we're gonna send key acquired. Okay. And what I'm gonna do here first is just maybe create a folder to move all these walls into this folder. Wall. Okay. So it's going to be named environment. Okay, it's better. So here we are. We have our key, and we are sending a message key acquired. Let's check that. So basically, if I send a message, it's not gonna change much. But here, I've been sending this message, and we cannot see it because it's just sent out of thin air. So if I want to intercept this message, what I can do is just create on message key acquired on message event. So this event will be called whenever this send message is sent. Okay, so here key acquired, and what I'm gonna do is just destroy object. Here, destroy object, and what object we are going to destroy is the key. So whenever a key acquired, I'm destroying the key because it's being acquired, and it's not working. Okay, let's troubleshoot that. So pickup item. Maybe I will drop the pickup item because it's probably something that is faulty. I need to investigate. I will remove the component and do something that is way more simple. Yeah. On trigger event, whenever my trigger is entered by the player, I'm gonna send the message key acquired and then destroy this object. Let's check that. Okay, and then we are here, and I've acquired a key. This is good. So here, what I need is whenever I get the key to open this bar, and basically what I need to do is here enable a trigger. But instead, what's interesting in the game is you can record that you have acquired this key. So whenever I enter the trigger here, I'm sending the key acquired, and on message key acquired, I'm destroying the key. But what I will do here, we're gonna set a global variable, set global action. And set global action is something that's gonna be, set global action is a way to store global variables during gameplay. So global variables are coming in two different scopes. So we have global variables that are global to one gameplay session, or you have local variables that can be reset every level. So here for set global action, we're gonna set a boolean named key acquired with a boolean value of true. Okay, so it's gonna be named set key acquired true. And that's it. So here, when we are going to make the trigger that opens the door here, we're gonna check for this variable. Something that needs to be done as well is if we have this key acquired value, what we want to do is create, initialize this value to false when we start the level. So I will create an event on start. So here on start event, I'm gonna paste the component here, set key acquired to false. So it's gonna start as false. And if we want to check this this value, we can go to Window, Gameplay Ingredients, Globals Debug here. So when we are in editor, we don't see anything, but when we play, here we have this name, key acquired, that is a local variable, boolean value with value of false. So we can debug that during runtime, and then yes, I got the key and the value went to true. And here we are going to the door, and now we need to make a trigger that checks for this value. Okay, so here we are going to the door bars. Okay, and what we're gonna do here is make a trigger. So it's gonna be here, gameplay ingredients, events, trigger box trigger that we're gonna put next to the door. Okay, so we have a trigger, we have our bars, and we're gonna group here everything into a barred door. So it's gonna be barred door. Okay, so here box trigger needs to open this door bars whenever a key acquired variable is true. So what we're gonna do is here on trigger enter, we're gonna perform some kind of logic named global logic. And here for this global logic, we're gonna check a local variable Boolean type named key acquired. And if a key acquired is equal to value Boolean value true, on test success, then we're going to do that. So here, if key acquired is true, then we are opening the door. So last time we saw that we can animate a door using timeline. Now we will be using different things. So here we have door bars here that is at its position. And in the beginning of this tutorial, I showed you a rig named reach position rig. And instead of using a timeline, we will be using this reach position rig. So door bars here will have a reach position rig. And the target will be this transform here. So by default, I will create transform here. And I will name it door closed. Okay. And for door bars, by default, it's going to be this transform. Okay. So whenever I want to open my door, I can create a door open. And this door open will be basically the transform when the door is like that. So let's copy the component value and paste these values here. And for this one, let's reset copy component, paste component value. So here we are, we have closed, open. And what we need to do here is change the target when the door is opening. So whenever on test success here, what we need to do is we have an action named reach position rig set target action. So we're going to fill that. And the reach position rig is the one for the door bars. And the new target will be door open. So it will tell the reach position rig to go to this door open. In order to make it a bit faster, I feel that we probably need to increase these two values. And yeah, that's it. So here we can go to the second room, then go here, catch the key, and then if we go to this door, it's opening, and then we can go outside. Okay, so what we can do here is create a victory camera trigger here, and camera trigger, and here we can move camera pretty close to the player, and that should be okay. So here I'm going to the door, so it's not working. That's what we want. We go fetch the key and open the door, and then we are finished. So this concludes this tutorial. It was a bit hectic because of the pickup system that is somehow broken, so I will need to investigate on that. It will be hopefully fixed in a newer version. So in the meantime, I thank you for listening and hope to see you in a later tutorial.